Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
So we're here, YouTube. We're doing YouTube now. Thank you guys for following my YouTube account, and thank you for your guys' interest. I really hope this channel goes somewhere, or at least I get to do some type of impact in someone's life. And just hopefully I can help out my community, because I really think that the stuff that I've learned these past few years and being in the behavioral specialist field, I think that a lot of the stuff that I teach my clients could be super beneficial to just the regular, average, just person who might be dealing with anxiety, depression, aggression, not being able to set certain goals, just certain things and barriers that I think that with a behavioral specialist you'll be able to overcome a lot of those barriers that you thought you would never be able to. So yes, let's get started. Anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. What can I say about anxiety? First of all, you really need to figure out what caused your anxiety to be constantly triggered multiple times throughout the day or week. You really have to figure out what's the source of the anxiety. Because if it's something that happened in the past, then it's important for you to go seek therapy. Talk to the therapist. You can explore and be able to just let go of all the hardships or whatever's really holding you down, which is creating the anxiety. If you already know what's causing the anxiety, you need to ask yourself, does your anxiety get triggered because of your environment right now? Now that's different. And that's another key point that people need to actually really, really pay attention to is my environment triggering my anxiety right now? Because if that's the case, you need to do something about your environment. Either you gotta remove yourself from the environment or problem solve to figure out ways to not let it trigger your anxiety. Sometimes other people's anxiety will trigger your anxiety and you'll just end up modeling their anxiety. So you got to figure that out. You got to see if is my aunt or a family member really being anxious around me that's causing me to copy the same behaviors, causing me to be hypervigilant and be super cautious about everything, because I have a family member that's constantly showing those behaviors like monkey see, monkey do. That has to do with modeling behaviors. I'm going to keep saying that constantly throughout all my videos. Monkey see, monkey do. It does not stop at the age of 3. It continues forever. At the age of 18, 21, 30, 40, we will copy each other as a society. That's just the way we are. It's human nature. And a lot of people don't realize that. It doesn't stop at 3 or 5 years old. Your kids don't stop copying you at that age. Your kids will continue to copy you here and now, as long as you keep exposing that to them. There's some people, like I mentioned in the past, if they're more so leaders and if they're really impacted by the decisions that their parents made, they will do the opposite, yes. But most will pretty much model their parents' behavior without knowing, unconsciously. I mean, it's not like they put it in their head and say, you know what, I'm going to copy my parent because they do that, even though it's negative, I'm going to go and do it. Sometimes it just happens and it's constantly shown, so it's normal, and you're going to want to model those behaviors because it's just shown. You think it's normal. Now at this point, I'm assuming that you realize that your anxiety is not normal and it's actually impairing and not letting you have a normal everyday life at work, school, at home, going out. Now when that starts to happen, you really got to start to evaluate, how many times does my anxiety really get triggered a day? You have to keep track. That's the first step. You have to figure out, how many times does your anxiety get triggered? What triggers your anxiety? What is the main source that continues to trigger anxiety? Then you got to problem solve and be prepared for that trigger. Because if you don't, you're going to continue to go back to your old ways, reverting to anxiety and not wanting to, and just basically follow through the symptoms, behaviors. And whenever we have anxiety, as I mentioned, we either run, we fight against people physically, or we freeze. And yes, people, anxiety does trigger aggression. Now, let me explain how anxiety works in the brain. Basically, when you're constantly exposed by trauma, whether it's little or big, you pretty much train your brain to be alert 24/7. Why? Because whatever situation caused your brain to get used to that, it got used to it. Your brain learned to have that switch on. When your brain, anxiety is triggered, your brain is basically telling your whole body that you're in danger. That's when you feel anxious. Your brain is telling you, danger, danger, danger. And that's why you start to hyperventilate. That's why you start to have sweaty palms. That's why you don't want to move, because your brain is signaling you that you're in danger. When you start to feel that way, you have to work against those thoughts. It is not easy. It takes practice, and it takes a really, really, really long time. And that's it. You thought it was going to be something. Consistency, persistence is key with learning how to control your anxiety. Your brain just got used to the habit of responding in an anxious way. You can untrain your brain to stop feeling anxious. It is possible. You just got to put in the work. Every time you feel anxious, you need to write it down, figure out what caused you to get anxious, and then be prepared with your coping skills and interventions for when that incident or whatever you see or hear that's going to trigger that anxiety. The more you practice your coping skills and interventions, the easier it's going to get. Consistency and persistency. One coping skill that I can suggest, meditation. Main one you can always use. Never fails. The thing is that people don't want to do it. It takes time. It's out of your ordinary schedule. But it's extremely beneficial for you to listen to it in the morning. If you have a presentation at school, listen to the meditation in your car. If you feel anxious before going to work, listen to meditation before you go to work. Listen to meditation before you go to sleep. That works tremendously. Self-talk. Another coping skill, an intervention. Self-talk. A lot of people don't like doing that, but self-talk makes a huge, huge difference. Even if you say it in your brain or you say it out loud. I think it works better when you say it out loud, but a lot of people feel embarrassed over it, and I completely understand that. But it works tremendously. Talking to yourself, calming yourself down, telling yourself that you're okay, that you're not in danger, telling yourself like, I'm alive, I'm okay. Am I alive right now? Yeah, I'm fine. Brain, I'm alive. Nothing's going on. No one's holding a gun against my head. There's no guns around me. I'm safe. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Then pace back and forth, feel something, hear something. All these senses. You can start feeling all these senses, and it'll bring you back to earth. But it takes persistency and practice. And if you have someone else that helps you get grounded, even better. It makes a huge, huge difference. But it just, like I mentioned, you have to be on it. A lot of people want an easy way out. You know, we're so used to getting things like this, like all the time. It's like this. It ain't like that. Not with behavioral progress. It takes a really, really long time to undo bad habits. Really, 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 really long time. And so that's why the effort is what's the main thing. Is a lot of people just don't want to put in the effort. They want an easy way out, and this is just, it's not going to be easy. It's not. Sometimes some people don't realize how social media can really cause a lot of anxiety, especially now in our newer generations. They constantly see stuff on their phones 24/7, other people's lives, good. You rarely see the bad. So what is that going to make a teenager feel? And they're going to feel like crap, because they're going to think their life is better than theirs, and it's constantly being shown 24/7 every day, even on the weekends. And it's like, for goddamn, can I feel happy once? Because I feel bad or jealous that other people are doing other things, or they have a mother, or they have a big family, or they're doing better things than what I am, or they're going out and I can't, or I don't have money to do this, but I can't go to vacation. All that stuff hurts people's feelings. It kills people's self-esteem. It creates anxiety. and people don't even know. So be aware of that stuff, you guys. Be aware of what you're seeing on your social media. If you're losing another coping skill, taking deep breaths. A lot of people don't like taking deep breaths, especially kids. When I work with my clients that are smaller, they really don't like taking deep breaths. They don't really understand the concept. But I think like as adults, I think we can really utilize deep breathing as a beneficial contribution towards reducing your anxiety. And it's just understanding the concept of taking deep breaths maybe will help other people understand how it's beneficial, because when you're having an anxiety, you know, your blood is going everywhere, so you're losing some oxygen off of your brain. So that's why taking deep breaths really makes a huge difference, you guys. You're giving that extra oxygen to your brain that you need to help you reduce your anxiety or panic attacks. So take those deep breaths. If you are embarrassed because you're scared of what other people are going to think, take smaller breaths then. Do this. Easy as that. A lot of people do that stuff, you know, without even thinking that there's something wrong. If you start to do this, it ain't gonna work. You're just making yourself worse. Short breaths, fast short breaths, they do not work, people. So don't do that. Making sure you do really deep breaths and letting them go. And letting them go. The last thing is, and I think I mentioned this in the beginning, is plan, people. Plan ahead. If you know there's certain things that trigger your anxiety, plan ahead and prepare your coping skills. Practice your coping skills and interventions before whatever situation or gathering or vacation, whatever your presentation, whatever you're doing, plan ahead. Practice what you need to do. Practice. Consistency. Just what it takes to lose weight. It's the same thing as learning how to rewire your brain and learn how to think different and learn how to control your anxiety and other behaviors. Like I mentioned, it is possible, people. It just takes practice and perseverance and motivation and dedication. Everything that it takes for you to just put it your all. If you really, really want this and you want change, you will put in the effort. But if you don't expect to get better, people. I'll be real with you, you ain't gonna get better. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, if you want other things for me to talk about, please leave some comments down below. Please subscribe, please share, show your tias, your uncles, your primas, your aunts, your great grandmother all these videos, because I am gonna be putting out a lot of content so that I really want to help my community out. And when I say community, I don't just mean as a whole, but I also mean as my Latin area as well, because I feel like a lot of our Hispanic culture, we were taught a lot of old school ways to discipline and teach our kids how to handle stressful situations, and a lot of stuff is being modeled by our own parents without them even noticing. So I think it's really important that they watch these videos and they educate themselves, coming from a different perspective. You know, that I grew up in a Mexican living family, and I know about the chancla, I know about the screaming, I know about all that old school stuff, and how it impacted some people, and how it didn't really, it wasn't beneficial as they grew up. And then as I got into the field, I started to realize, I was like, wow, these interventions and coping skills can be taught to other cultures, so they could start learning new ways of handling stressful situations, so you don't end up having a disorder, because it is possible for us not to have disorders. We can get rid of anxiety, we can get rid of depression, you can get rid of your anger, not 100%, but you can control it. I promise. You just have to put in that work. A lot of people don't want to, though. So ask yourself that question. Do you really want it? And if you do, put in that work. And if you don't, then stop complaining. And hopefully one day you'll be ready and you could go back to these videos and put in the work. Bye, you guys.